Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have 10 movie reviews to go over with you guys. Most of it's horror, obviously, but there's a few like thrillers in here, but it's mostly horror. Sorry. I mean, I am the horror punk, right? So, first up here is Insidious, the fourth entry, The Last Key. This ties in with the first film. Basically, this is about Elise. She goes back to the family home that she grew up in, facing her demons with her abusive father and her. Well, she ran away from home because her dad was an abusive son of a you-know-what, and didn't believe anything she was talking about ghosts, but it wasn't really a spirit that she was seeing. It was actually a real girl being abused by her father. And yeah, so I highly recommend this film. A lot of people thought it was the weakest in the one of the weakest entries of the series. They also didn't like part 3, but I enjoy all 4 of them. So yeah, highly recommend The Last Key. Next one here is actually the one that's not a horror film in the series. It's a comedy. I went ahead and watched Slums of Beverly Hills with Alan Arkin, Marissa Tomei, and Natasha Lyonne. It's a very strange comedy. I enjoyed it overall. If there is a Blu-ray, there isn't one yet, but if there's one to come up, I would definitely upgrade it in the collection. It's just about Natasha Lyonne's character growing up in the 70s without actually having like a female, I guess, role model, because her dad keeps changing houses. He leaves his wife. He brings his three kids. Yeah, 3 kids with him everywhere he goes, and they have to always adapt to everything. But he always wants them to stay in the school district of Beverly Hills to get their education. Yeah, it's pretty crazy what goes on in this film. Especially concerning Natasha Lyonne's character's cousin, which played by Marissa Tomei. Yeah, it's a decent coming-of-age comedy. Highly recommend it. Okay, this one was very strange. I do enjoy my black and white horror films from the 50s. This is from 1959, and that is The Four Skulls of Jonathan Drake. I don't even remember how to put it into words here. So basically, I'll just read the synopsis. The sins of the fathers rest heavily on the heads of the sons, literally, in this fun-filled fright fest that will keep you awake and screaming through many a traumatic night. It's not that scary, but it is definitely creepy. Faced with an age-old family curse that beheaded their forefathers, 2 brothers attempt to unravel the family plot, even as sinister forces attempt to put them into it. Yeah, the curse is very strange. Like, you know, there's this one dude here, the scientist, crazy scientist guy, trying to steal skulls and whatnot. If you guys enjoyed the craziness of the horror of the 50s, I recommend it. If you don't, skip it. I enjoyed it. Alright, we got not a horror film. This is like a thriller, action thriller from 1984, and that is Alley Cat, put out by one of my favorite labels, Vinegar Syndrome. Take it out with the synopsis here if I need to. So this is about a girl Billy, played by Karen Manny. She has had enough of thugs and gangsters who have been terrorizing her neighborhood. After her grandparents are savagely attacked on their way home, she decides to take matters into her own hands, and she becomes a vigilante and starts kicking a lot of ass. But she doesn't expect that it's not just the local hoods who have put a target on her back, that the criminal justice system also wants to lock her up. Yeah, it's really sad what happens to her grandparents in here. Just say one of them doesn't make it through, and she's really pissed, and she pretty much just takes the matters into her own hands. She tried to trust the justice system, but it failed her miserably. So she took it upon herself to take action. So if you guys like vigilante films, highly recommend this one. It is from the early 80s, so yes, there are a couple of scenes of rape in here. So if you know, I personally, I hate that. I hate those scenes, but just wanted to forewarn you guys. This was directed by 3 different directors. Victor, or I can never pronounce these people's names. Victor Ordonez, Ed Palmos, and Al Valita. So, this is only a Blu-ray release, and there's a nice fold-out poster inside. Next up is a film that recently came out. I got it at Walmart, and that is The Spore. It's a very creepy film. I mean, I think it could happen, maybe. Basically, this is about an evil spore is awakened by global warming after lying dormant for eons beneath an ancient ice field. A horrific plague ravages mankind, sending Meadow on the run from crumbling civilization. I guess Meadow is the lady's name. I didn't catch her name. She gets a lift from a stranger, notices the driver is gruesomely infected, and escapes, taking refuge in an abandoned cabin. But is it abandoned? No, it's not. Now 10 strangers attempt to evade the madness in a small town, with some succumbing to a hideously mutating fungus. Yeah, this movie gave me Walking Dead vibes. A couple of scenes in here made me think of Slither. The practical effects in here are really cool. Like it's really gross in some parts too. Basically, if you're around an affected person and you get blood on you, you're immediately affected. Just affected, and you're gonna die. You're basically screwed. So, yeah, if you guys enjoy like virus, infections, plague movies, highly recommend it. Alright, this one was a really fun watch as well. I watched Don't Breathe 2. So in the first movie, you're rooting. Well, I guess you could root for him if you're really into that. You actually root for him a lot in this film. Basically, this takes place right after the first one left off. I remember at the end of the movie, he finds a young girl outside, and he takes her, and that's the end of the movie, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but this takes place right after that. The girl is living with him, and so basically he starts his life over 8 years later. He lives with a young girl and has recreated the family stolen from him by a drunk driver. Their quiet life together is shattered when a group of unseemly criminals kidnaps her and forces Norman to tap into even darker and more creative instincts in an effort to save her. I don't want to give too much away about what's going on, but basically, the guys that are after or that kidnapped her are actually it's her real dad, but he has other intentions to do with. He's not really saving her life, so to speak. So I think Stephen Lane kicks a lot of ass in this film. He's the one that plays the blind man. Yeah, if you guys I really enjoyed this film. There's a lot of cool death scenes in here, and it's kind of sad at the end too. But yeah, I don't know if they're ever gonna make a part 3. I hope they do though. But definitely enjoyed that one. And then this one was kind of a hard watch, but I really enjoyed this film too. I already flipped the cover over, and that is another Vinegar Syndrome title, and that is The Candy Snatchers. Basically, it's about this girl, Candy. She's a teenage heiress to a large fortune. She's kidnapped by a trio of small-time criminals on her way home from Catholic school. They bury her alive in an unmarked grave. The trio attempts to extort her father, a wealthy jeweler, for a hefty ransom. But what seemed like a simple, straightforward kidnapping soon spirals out of control with violent consequences, and Candy's only hope for survival is a young mute boy who knows where she is buried. Fun fact, the mute boy was played by the director's son at the time. Yeah, this is a very well done film. Like, the acting is you think it would be really like low budget. It is low budget, but the acting is like pretty good. From 1973, 95 minutes. I didn't get bored with this film. I just, I was entertained. The one guy right there, what's his name? Vince Martirano. I liked his character a lot, and also enjoyed Susan Sennett as Candy. Damn it, she was married to Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash for the longest time. I know they got divorced a couple years ago, but yeah, if you guys really want, I definitely recommend you guys picking this up from the next sale if you don't already own it in your collection. Alright, I got 3 more here. This was a fun watch too. This is the Mondo Macabro release, and that is Lady Terminator. This is from 1988. This was filmed in Indonesia, but it is in English. Directed by Jalil Jackson, starring Barbara Ann Constable, Claudia Angelique Raidmaker, Christopher J. Hart, and Joseph P. McGlynn. Yeah, this is definitely a wild ride of a film. This is about a sexually, I can never say this word, rapacious, I can't, Rapacious, Asian goddess known as the Queen of the South Sea. She possesses the body of a young female skin diver. Armed with an AK-47 and an endless supply of bullets, this murderous Lady Terminator takes onto the streets on a revenge-filled rampage. There's a lot of sex in this movie. Like, that's the way she gets around. The goddess gets around and kills men. She basically hops on and, basically just kills their man parts. And, yeah. It doesn't show it, though. It just shows her on top, and it just shows blood spurting everywhere. But, yeah, this movie is wild. It's a I wouldn't call it a horror film per se. I would say it's more of a action thriller, a little bit of sci-fi thrown in there. But yeah, it's a little over the top, but I really love this movie. I would upgrade it in a heartbeat. I fell asleep to this one, and I apologize, but this is a movie from 1993 called Skeeter. Basically, it's about a toxic waste turns a stagnant pool of water into a breeding ground of terror. It's dealing with mosquitoes, and yeah, I fell asleep toward the middle of it, so I don't remember exactly what happens. But I thought the practical effects were pretty cool, kind of cheesy for mid-90s, but I recommend it. I gotta watch it again though. And then I threw this on last night. This one I have seen before. Looking back now, I should probably get the better Blu-ray, the new one. This is an older scan from Code Red. That is One Dark Night, starring Batman himself, Adam West, Meg Tilly. Who else is in here? Robin Evans, Leslie Spites, and Elizabeth Daily. Directed by Tom McLaughlin. This is a very strange film as well. This is about, let's read the synopsis here. World-famous psychic Raymar is found dead, along with several victims of his bizarre experiments. On the same day, his body is entered in a mausoleum. High schooler Julie Wells agrees to spend the night there alone as part of a hazing to join a clique. The Sisters, yeah, that's the name of the clique. Later that night, the sisters secretly return to torment Julie in an attempt to scare her out of her mind, but the girls are not alone. Raymer's experiments continue even after death on his own body and on the dozen resident corpses in various stages of decay. Soon they're exhumed and looking for fresh meat. So it's kind of like a zombie film, so to speak. It's very, very creepy. Especially the scenes in the mausoleum. It's just really creepy. But I should probably upgrade, because the picture quality on this one's not great. So I know MVD put this out, so I probably should upgrade to that. But yeah. So that's everything I have for you guys today. I do have some pickups to show, but I'm waiting for one in the mail, so I'm just going to wait till hopefully tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, whenever it shows up. It just got mailed out, so these are all the titles I have for you guys today. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen any of these and what you thought of them. And I'll catch you guys real soon. Take care.